oak streets here in San Francisco. I don't know if it's the funky mold from out front, but inside here, I feel rejuvenated. I'm feeling good today. The only negative is we've got the entire sales staff in the other room, and it's so loud, even though we're in a brand new studio, I can hear them in here.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to shut that door all the way, though.
Oh, yeah, shut it. Go shut it. I didn't realize I didn't shut it all the way. By the way, we're back. We're back. I had to cool off a little bit. I want to love my baseball team again, and I can't because the man in charge doesn't believe in playing real baseball. I mean, I would love to go play catch with Farhan Zaidi. Join us
you know that's
tomorrow.
Not going well.
Fieldwork Brewery in San Leandro on Wednesday, October 18th, 4 to 6 p.m. for the 2023 preseason Warriors Summit. Shasky and I will be there. Steiny Guru, Willard and Dibs, and we expect you guys, the listeners, to be there too because it is open to the public. Be sure to come on down, hang out. We'll have a Kevin Durant shoe that somebody will win. I don't know if it's the left shoe, right shoe. I don't think it's a pair because it just said shoe, not shoes. Just a shoe. But we're giving that out. And Lady Duke 7, Bonte feeling himself lately. No, I'm not feeling myself. I'm a little annoyed.
You know why?
I'm not feeling myself, though.
I'll tell you why you're annoyed.
I'm just living
because you can kind of see sometimes into the future, and I got to give you credit. There are times where I'm like, Bonte's crazy, and then there's other times where I'm like, Bonte might be Nostradamus, because you see things before they happen, and it's like a blurry vision, and then as I get closer and closer, it starts to come into clarity. And I'm looking at this Kirk Cousins situation, and
oh boy,
why are you laughing?
Don't do this right now. Don't do it.
You've been talking about Kirk Cousins nonstop for years, and all I keep thinking is like, look, this CMC injury could not have come at a worse time for the maybe we take a look at Kirk Cousins crowd, which I'm not here for. I'm in the Brock crowd.
No,
I'll admit
but if it happens on Monday Night Football, if Brock struggles without Christian McCaffrey on Monday Night Football, and if Kirk Cousins lights it up,
you know what'll happen?
My worst nightmare is going to happen.
Bonte did have a point.
Oh, my gosh. And
you like that?
Because
you like that?
Sam Darnold's on a 1-year contract.
Oh, my God.
Brock Purdy's making peanuts, so if you cut him, it's not a big cap hit. Oh, my gosh. If Brock Purdy struggles, I need Brock Purdy to throw. Brock Purdy, I need you to have a game of your life.
Here's the thing that's frustrating for me.
Please. You know it's true. You know how it's going to happen.
It's not just that. You heard how many different people have told you that, like, Kyle Shanahan, once he's done with someone, he's done. Like, it happens very quick, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
All right? And
he does not have patience for quarterbacks. I would love to get the Shannon Sharp sound from about a month ago on First Take. Shannon Sharp on First Take looked in the camera and said, look, I've known Kyle since he was 12. I played for Mike. One thing the Shanahans, what they aren't, is patient with the quarterback or with any player. They don't have patience. They just don't.
So, okay. So, like, I just think this next couple of weeks is very important for Brock to stabilize things. He doesn't need to play lights out. He just needs to play good enough to stabilize things, win a game or two. If it's 3 games, I'm just hypothetically, where CMC's out,
right.
Win 1 at minimum.
Right. I think the Niners are going to dominate Kirk Cousins. I really do. There's no chance they're going to let that guy light them up. He doesn't move in the pocket. Their offensive line is Nick Bosa is hearing all the talk about his numbers slipping, and he's slipping, blah, 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 not living up to the contract. I would disagree with that.
You cannot lose to a Justin Jefferson
can't lose less team. Yeah,
Viking squad.
No doubt.
You just can't.
You can't lose this game, and they won't. The Niners will win this game. Now, how does it look? I have no idea. But they will not lose to the Minnesota Vikings. That's not happening. Primetime Kirk Cousins? Are you kidding me? That's it. To me, that screams 2 interceptions, 225 yards, and a garbage time touchdown.
Monte, it's the NFL. Anyone can beat anyone at any time.
Not Kirk Cousins. We lose to Kirk Cousins. Now, I know I always joke about this, about, hey, I'm going to call in sick if we do this and that. The 49ers lose to Kirk Cousins on Monday night. Spadoni, you will be in this chair on Tuesday.
You know who'll be in here at 5 o'clock in the morning ready to do 10 hours?
Steinmetz?
Yes.
I am not coming in to do this show if they lose to Kirk Cousins on Monday night.
Did you see the smirk on his face when we were all talking in the little bullpen back there and then the new little, I don't know, I guess that's the corner of this little studio that we're in?
Yeah.
He got so happy when someone brought up Kirk Cousins' name.
Well, he didn't. He was like, oh, wow, that's a great point.
The way Eddie DeBartolo smiles at Joe Montana is the way Steiny smiles about Kirk Cousins.
So what did we learn from Sunday's loss? What did we learn from Sunday's loss? Because I'm not panicking about the 49ers. They're 5-1. They're tied for first in the NFC. I believe if they're healthy, they're going to be fine. But did you learn anything? And one thing I learned was Christian McCaffrey's the most important player on this offense. I kind of thought he was.
Yeah.
But I was a little conflicted at times because Brock Purdy started playing so well, especially that Dallas game when McCaffrey was basically handcuffed. No, McCaffrey's the most important player on offense. It's not even close.
Well, the other thing that I think I learned is if we're going to talk about how great that defensive line was for Cleveland, in particular, they did a great job against Aaron Donald earlier this year. But I finally saw a guard center right tackle side of the line on that side where McKivitz is and Burford and Brendel. It looked compromised. And maybe it was a matchup thing, but it is definitely something I'm going to be monitoring this week.
Not only that, Trent Williams gave up 4 pressures.
Yeah, he didn't look great.
Aaron Banks gave up 3 pressures. Burford gave up, I believe, 3 pressures, 3 or 4 pressures. McKivitz gave up 1. Brindle gave up a couple. Feeling thing, this offensive line, when it comes to the big boy defensive lines in football, they fail to hold their own. I mean, I can't excuse the Cleveland Browns playing on the Niners side of the line of scrimmage. How many times did McCaffrey? You said something about how many yards before contact?
Yards before contact, McCaffrey in this game, minus 104. Meaning he was hit in the backfield on every possession.
There you go.
He still broke some yards.
Yeah, but he was getting hit.
Yes.
He's basically the modern-day Barry Sanders with the Lions.
Yes.
Getting hit 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and try to, hey, make something happen.
And we all know the trenches is the unreported but most important part of football in January.
You don't win a Super Bowl without dominating the trenches, or at least controlling the trenches.
I agree.
And that's another thing I learned. Can we control the trenches against the big boy defenses? Because the Eagles, their offensive line controls the trenches.
Yes, they do.
And they struggled a little bit without Lane Johnson on Sunday. They'll look to bounce back against Miami. The Jets' defensive line. The Browns' defensive line. Hell, Pittsburgh had their way at times. TJ Watt had 3 sacks against the Niners.
Yeah, that game was out of hand, and he was still dominating.
He was still dominating.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
The Niners have the Baltimore Ravens on their schedule later on in the season. Cincinnati's coming in a couple weeks. So I'm bookmarking this offensive line performance saying, how do you improve? And if Trent Williams can't go, and you heard him after the game, I didn't want to put Jalen Moore in a position to block Myles Garrett. Because if you put Jalen Moore in that position to block Myles Garrett, then we'll probably talk about Sam Darnold starting at quarterback this week against Minnesota, because there's no way Brock Purdy stands up and he makes it out that game alive with Jalen Moore at left tackle.
How do you feel about Miami's offense right now? The Dolphins.
Best offense in football.
Okay. Did they have a stinker?
They did.
I mean,
it's Buffalo.
Buffalo kind of had their way with them, right? And they had some yards in that game and whatnot. I think every team is allowed a couple of flat games.
No doubt.
Right? And then this is the Niners' flat game.
I don't know if it was flat. I don't know if just Cleveland took it from them.
Okay.
It just imposed their will.
But
I thought the Niners came out, they were fired up.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Sorry
No, that's fine. I think when you're not completing passes, when the quarterback looks a little off, when you are getting beat in the trenches, you'll look flat. You know what I mean?
Right.
You'll look flat. When you don't have Dre Greenlaw thumping dudes.
I wouldn't even use the word flat. I would just say you look bad.
Okay.
You look bad.
Okay. I like that word.
8 possessions.
Yeah, I like that word.
Where you didn't gain 1 single yard.
That's why I think they need to bounce back in a big way. And I think this one is a big Shanahan-Purdy moment for the two of them to kind of quiet the crowd, tamp down all of the murmurs. No one is saying that both suck. No one is saying that it's the end of the road for Purdy or anything. But people are going to be looking for all the flaws, especially on Monday Night Football. And if there's no CMC or a limited Deebo Samuel, if you don't think people are going to be watching with a fine-tooth comb, well, then you're mistaken. That's the NFL. Justin Herbert who most people think is a really good quarterback, we are going through this morning on every national television. We are going, oh, this is what he didn't do. This is what he didn't do. This is what he didn't do. Because you know why? He's the quarterback of a team. He got paid $250 million, and we see him as a franchise player. When Purdy has an unbeaten streak, as long as he does, on the best team in the NFL, the minute he stubs his toe, people are going to come out of the woodworks to criticize. Now they want to see, what does it look like after adversity?
Yep, you're spot on there. You're spot on there. 888-957-9570. Still got time for a few more phone calls if you want to call in about what you learned from Sunday's game. Or did you not learn anything? Or are you just saying, hey, losses happen. It's all good. It's all good. Or did you say, boy, I learned that maybe this offensive line is not all that. Maybe Brock Purdy is not the MVP. Maybe Christian McCaffrey is a little more important. Did you learn that Drake Greenlaw
is important?
Is very important to this defense.
Very important.
He may now be the third most important player on this defense. What about Randy Gregory? I learned that this guy's got something in the tank.
I learned right away he's got more juice than Cleveland Farrell, and I didn't think Cleveland Farrell was playing that bad.
No, he's not. What about Drake Jackson?
Man, doesn't he feel like he's on the way out the door?
He played 22 snaps. 22 snaps.
Out of 22. What, 68, 70?
Yeah. So we got these lines. Everybody stay on hold. We're going to get to everybody out here. We're working on it. Full lines here. We'll get everything. We got overreactions coming up. Overreactions from week number 6. Coach of the week, player of the week, team of the week, laughing stock of the week, game of the week. Phone lines tripping. Phone lines are tripping. Keep calling, folks. 888-957-9570. New studio, technical difficulties. We will get through it all. Keep calling us. We're going to get everybody on. Be patient. Bear with us as we adjust to the new studio. Well, as we adjust to life after Christian McCaffrey, who's probably going to be out a couple weeks. I know Mayoko just had a report on him, and they said it's more so a pain tolerance for Christian McCaffrey. What? Very vague with the injury, but more so a pain tolerance.
Well, that's not good. I mean, I don't like that at all. I mean, like, you're a running back. You're in like 32 car collisions a week. Like, you're the most important guy on the team. Well, I don't like that. That's not good.
You said something earlier, and I wonder, just based off this game against Cleveland, they got a historic defense. They're flying around the football. Jim Schwartz, now 9-1 against Shanahan. He may win the Assistant of the Year award with the way that defense is playing.
Dude, I watched that game back. He's fist pumping.
Oh, yeah.
And so many times he was like, and it was like the evil villain one.
Yeah, the
too.
evil villain
the
smile,
slow,
too.
Like,
He wanted this one. He wanted this one bad.
Oh, yes. What happened with him and Shanahan?
I don't know, but they were cooking.
Did Shanahan slap his back?
You said something earlier that at some point we're going to get into, maybe every single week. But if McCaffrey can't go and say he's just out, can they win the big one without Christian McCaffrey?
No.
They absolutely have to have him.
You're not going to Philadelphia. You are not beating the Philadelphia Eagles without Christian McCaffrey.
What's more likely? The Niners winning the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold or the Niners winning the Super Bowl without Christian McCaffrey?
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. And to me, if McCaffrey's not available, you're not winning. And people are going to say, Joe, you went to the NFC Championship game without McCaffrey. You went to the Super Bowl without McCaffrey. Yeah, but the road didn't go through Philadelphia. The road didn't go through a Detroit team that I think higher of. Think about who you beat. You beat Minnesota and a flawed Green Bay team that you own.
And
I'm just like, no I think that matters, doesn't it?
It does matter. It does matter.
And like Dallas, you handled them with McCaffrey. It looked a lot closer in the playoff game last year.
Look, and I'm hearing some stuff. Hey, man, Brock's best 2 weapons were out of the game. Why we don't use that for Devo? We didn't use that for Trey Lance, and we certainly didn't use that excuse for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo had to walk on the football field to start the 2022 season, or excuse me, the 2020 season with Kendrick Bourne, Dante Pettis, and Trent Taylor. And it did not matter. 49er fans said, who cares? Play better.
Yeah.
So we're not using those excuses for Brock.
And their running back went down in the first quarter, Raheem Mostert, after taking one to the house, and then Kittle got hurt in that game.
So I like Jimmy Garoppolo did not get these excuses. I'm not even talking about Trey Lance. I didn't forget Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo. We've been on radio throughout the tenure of Jimmy Garoppolo's time with the 49ers. He was not warranted excuses like this.
Jimmy was kind of a kingmaker for us.
He was.
But keep going.
He was. But
keep going.
It's not
I'm letting you cook.
He lost weapons. Hey, you missed this guy. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. So you know what? Brock Purdy is a damn good quarterback. And I'm glad he's the quarterback of the 49ers. He won this job. He earned it.
He did.
But I'm not here to hear, hey, he was without his two best weapons. No. I'm not here for that.
Well,
we can't do that. We can't pick and choose when we do that.
No, but wouldn't you agree that, like, if Brady didn't have Edelman and Gronk, not that they're on the same level, but Edelman and Gronk, look, we'd be like, yeah, look, he put his team in a position to win a game that they had no business winning, right? If Brady had done the same thing as Brock Purdy, I just replaced Brady and put him in there for Brock Purdy, and he lost his two best weapons, what would we be saying? The kicker's got to make that kick. He had it ready to go.
Yep. Jimmy Garoppolo beard on YouTube. They did get to 30 points per game, and they were number 2 in the NFL. They had Emmanuel Sanders as their leading receiver and a rookie in Deebo Samuel. I'm just saying. Let's go to the lines. Let's get rat-a-tat-tat. We got about 20 minutes.
And no clear-cut number 1 running back, if we're being totally honest.
Yeah, I know. He's
a guy who was a gunner.
Running back by committee. Running back by committee. But Jimmy gets no credit for 2019. I was the only one defending this guy. And I was looking like a fool doing it.
I would love to have Jimmy call us from the hospital bed right now, like my dad did.
I would love that, too.
To defend himself.
I would love that, too. But Shanahan and patience. Brock Purdy has to have a big game. Because we're going to find out who the real Kyle is if he doesn't have a big game against Minnesota. I fully anticipate Brock Purdy bouncing back, leading the Niners to a win. But if he doesn't, YouTube will be up next Tuesday. That's for sure.